Alrighty here. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is your favorite dark sorcerer here. And today I want to talk to you about your personal rights. If you live in the United States, then your rights as a religious practitioner is protected. Okay? And this goes as far back as the Constitution when it was written, that 17th century. Okay? And what's interesting to note is that there are certain rights that really help you. The First Amendment is designed for freedom of speech, okay? But more so, it represents and protects your personalized religion, okay? When you look at what makes up a protected religion, followers, an establishment, and doctrine, okay? Why do you think occultists write books, set up memora- memoranda, take rules, structures? That's why, okay? Second of all, religious land use and personalized religious acts. Okay, these things are set up so no one has a right to limit or deny your religious structure or belief structure, for that matter. Okay, now what's interesting to note is that if you go back to the 1964 to 1967, okay, buddy, daddy's on the phone. Yeah, you got two of them. Cool. So 1967 to it's actually 1964 to 1967. The Civil Rights Act was established and then reworded, and it has been reworded about two to three times since then. I believe it was done back in the 1990s, about 2006, and then again in 2011. And it was kind of interesting to see because they made it a little bit better, a little bit open. Okay. Number one, it protects your rights in the workforce. Incredible thing right there. The workforce. But it does come down to a matter of safety. So therefore, the Ramsey Law was established. Okay. But for the most part, the 1964 to 1969 rights, okay, the civil rights, was actually set up to protect you, your not only your personalized rights, but also your rights getting employed. Okay, nobody can hinder that. More so, it prevents anybody from, say, for example, limiting. If we go onto social media today, and I'm gonna point this out on Facebook. Okay, Facebook is a prime example. A prime example. How many of you have actually gotten into groups and tried to share your knowledge, share your sources, okay, your very practices, okay, but yet admins shut you out. You cannot speak like that in this group. That goes against the personalized acts, okay. That goes against the First Amendment, which is freedom of speech. That's free speech, okay. Now, of course, within the world, you got some dumbass sitting there going, well, I'd like to, pop the commander in chief. Well, next thing you know, you got the FBI and you got the, the ATF on that person. They're being arrested and all that stuff. Well, guess what? That's another whole, it's a whole nother beat. Namely because of the fact, Everett, take that into mama. You take that into mama, that's a phone call for her. So basically, this comes down to a matter of safety. Okay, this comes into criminal threatening. So therefore, that's a violation. All right. So they had a right to do that. So, but outside of that, you could basically talk about anything you want. Okay. I'm talking, you know, religious practices, different rites. Okay. Practicing these rites. Okay. Personal rights within religion comes down to commonalities. Okay. For an example, in the 11th century, there was a thing called the Angelus prayer. Okay. The Angelus prayer was a tool used to worship a deity. Okay. This is done vocally, sometimes silently, depending on which religion you're in. Okay. So when we look at this, it's the same thing with fasting. Certain fastings, like say the 11th century, has the black fast. Today in mainstream JCI, you have what is known as the Daniel's fast. Okay. Occultists utilize fasting before a ritual. And fasting can cover a wide range from relations with your partner to, abstinence type thing, type aspect to um, not eating foods. Okay. You take necromancy for an example, shamanism, JCI, like Catholics, they would go a month without food. And if they did eat, it came down to the particular type of rite they were doing. For an example, the Daniel's fast was something that allowed them to eat anything of the earth. Okay, I'm talking fruits, vegetables, things like honey. The natural things grown from the earth. No meats, no nothing. Okay, in that department. Okay, so it really came down to the commonalities. So when we look at these commonalities and we go from religion to religion to religion, there are things that some religions do that are literally right up the same alley as everything else. But on the other hand, there are things coming down that are of the legal system. Okay. For an example, right now we have the TST. They're making such a splash politically. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about this just for a second here. They're going around suing for violations. Okay. Suing a particular city or state for not allowing a Bofema statue to be built. Okay. But yet the location is built right next to the Ten Commandments. Prime example there. I mean, you look at Detroit, you look at Florida, you look at Oklahoma. Okay. Um, a crapshoot just opened up over this one particular topic. It's like, what did you think was going to happen? Okay. What did you think was going to happen by placing a 9-foot statue of Baphomet next to the Ten Commandments? You're going to have a community in uproar, especially in the Bible Belt. But at the same time, everybody's looking at the state. Okay? The state has nothing to do with the religious codes and penal codes. Okay? They really don't. But we see it all the time, right? Anytime somebody's sworn into office, it's always by a Christian Bible. Why not a witch's Bible? Why not the satanic Bible? Okay? You see the point there. That's religious discrimination. That's denying somebody else's religion. Okay? But it's done by a JCI Bible. So this is personalized religious acts. Okay, because 9 times out of 10, the people running for the top offices are Christian. It's the same thing within corporations. They're Christian. So you as the occultist, you as the necromancer, you as the Satanist have to work 10 times harder. Okay? So knowing your religious rights will benefit you. Okay? They will benefit you. Now, I want you to take a moment to think about something. Now, as I said, the TST did this. Okay? But what did they do next? They went after Hollywood. Hollywood's version of what they put forth as Bohemian. Okay, they didn't like it. You don't see other Satanists doing it. No other satanic organization doing it. It was just the TST. Okay, so after this, now they're attacking the abortion rights. Okay, the abortion rights of women. Okay, it's their bodies, their rights, if they wish to do it or not. But in this case, each one of these cases, it is always our rights. You're violating our rights, okay? Not the overall satanic community, just the TST members, okay? You got to look at the fine details on these, okay? Especially if you get their newsletters, okay? So, anyways, as I was saying, you got to look at the the duality of it, okay? On one hand, people are preaching about equal rights, but yet are they really in place? Is anybody really stepping up to the plate and putting forth their rights? You see, where I work, I actually shared titles VI and VII with my upper levels. Okay. The reason for that was kind of give them a notion. Every so often I would share this, kind of give them a notion, hey, you're in violation. Okay. But it's not flaunting it. It's not sitting there getting into their face and to the point where it pisses them off. It's really not. But with everything that's been going on, running a business, running, you know, a corporation is a lot different because they've got so many angles that they got to look at. Your little religious rights being violated, well, that's minor compared to what they're normally doing. But if it's being violated, you need to be the one to step up and go to HR and go, hey, this is what's going on. Okay? Not just sit there and say, up yours, consider this my 2 weeks. Okay? I actually experimented with this, and it ended up with me being put into a management program. So it was kind of cool. And it's basically working with the gods on this. So you're getting it from a couple of different angles here. So you look at everything from the blue law to the First Amendment. You look at your fifth freedom rights, okay, the freedom of speech. Getting underneath Facebook, how many times did Facebook's owner refine community service standards? Okay. You post a photo in, say, for example, your bathroom, fully clothed, I might add, and you're going to find that photo being taken down by Facebook. But if you sit there and you curse somebody up one side and down the other with foul language, hate speech, that's okay. It just keeps on going. But don't expect it to sit there and be untouched because you may get flagged. You may get a yellow standard. Okay. And what's interesting about this is that a lot of people don't realize by knowing your rights, you can actually have a review Okay, a review done. Have them recheck their facts, so to speak. And what's interesting to note is that with Facebook, this can actually be in your benefit because 9 times out of 10, it will be reestablished. It will be unlocked, unblocked, and you're able to use it. More so, what's even more cool is that you have the choice to put it in front of the overall panel. This is the upper management. I'm talking the top council within Facebook, the business itself, humanized. But their stature is whatever their outcome of their word, their decision is final. Okay. So keep that in mind. Okay. I actually have all their names written down. I actually took the time to sit there and write all of them down, and I took it into the ritual room, and I did a ritual. Okay, just to because one of my posts that had nothing to do with religion, had nothing to do with violation of any standard, kept getting flagged. So what I did was I put it forth to be, you know, give them a chance to renew their decision and go, okay, we were wrong. Well, that didn't happen. So then I went to the upper level, the high council, and I put it in their hands, and it was reestablished. The individuals who kept reporting it ended up in my block list. Okay. Why? It turned out they were Christians. Okay. This really does happen. Okay. It turned out they were Christians. So what was interesting about this is that I didn't ask Facebook to block them. But when somebody's constantly harassing you through your account in this manner, you can go to them and say, hey, you look at this. You deal with these people. Okay? I don't have to lift a finger. That's your religious freedom. That is freedom of speech. Okay? This is your United States right. Okay? This is your right as an individual. This is your rights as an overall order, foundation, covenant, temple. Okay? That you can do. I recommend looking at the various different agencies that deal with legal action. Okay. Now, in the past, I've done a couple of videos kind of just sharing with you what Ed Morrow has been doing. Okay. Now, what's interesting to note here is that he's still at it. Facebook has literally banned him, his account, and everything, just destroyed his account, obliterated. He has no account there. Only his most active acolyte, Lucifer, is the only one that's still posting crap for him on Facebook. His other allies aren't even lifting a finger to even defend him. They know that he's in the wrong. But Ed wants war, not peace. So he's ended up in a war zone. So basically, every single account that he has been being hit. Okay? For hate speech, for harassment, for stalking. Okay? But more than that, legal action is being taken. Okay? And when you gather all this evidence against somebody, okay, number one, it's across state lines, which makes it federal. Okay? This goes to the Department of Justice. Okay? Not just the FBI cyber unit. Okay? So you can literally go to the FBI cyber unit and report this individual. You can file a complaint with the Department of Justice. Okay? That's two different agencies. Okay? That you can go to. The American Civil Liberties Union is another. Okay? All three of these, having things on file with them, allows you to get an attorney, and you can go at this asshat, literally, in a legal action. Okay? Now, what's interesting is Lucifer and Ed Morrow. Now, there is a how should I say this? There's that 50-50 type thing that it's either Ed on both accounts or it's actually an apprentice of his. The writing is very, very similar. Okay, so keep that in mind. But here's the thing: you can file these complaints. You can get um, a lawyer, go to court, file a claim. Okay. Now Ed Morrow and Lucifer claims to be from Australia. Okay, whereas Ed is European. Okay, he's still European, and so therefore he is under European law. Okay, so here and European law is a lot different from the United States penal codes because he's in England. Okay, he deals with the Witchcraft Parliament Act. Okay, such as fraud. Okay, that's right, fraud. He's committed fraud a lot of the time. You add in all these other things such as defamation of character, fraud, stalking, harassment. You got, let's see, what else is there? Cyberbullying, cyber uh, threatening, all this other stuff. Guess what? Number one, just the defamation of character alone that he has done can land him in prison for a single year, 1 year prison term, with up to $2,000 to $6,000 fine. Okay, you add in all these others, his ass is fucking grass. Okay, plain and simple, his ass is grass right there. Okay, nobody's gonna fucking touch his ass. Now you think of everybody that he has pissed off over the last couple few years. Now you add all this in, you might as well just throw away the key. But Ed is too stupid to realize this. Okay, he's just too stupid. So it's going to take something very big to give him a wake up call. Now, from what I understand, some people are actually reaching out through the legal system. I'm not going to say who, but I can tell you this: it's not me yet. But then again, you'll find some way to make me the bad guy on that too. So have fun with that. So, anyways, knowing your legal rights within your religious freedoms is awesome. It allows you to position yourself in such a way that nobody's going to fuck with you. Okay, but more so, it kind of sets the world a message saying we're not taking your bullshit no more. Plain and simple. Corporations are still limited. They're still utilizing Christians at the top and everybody else at the bottom. Basically, the whole good versus evil. Okay, you can reach out to the TST and ask for their help. They're not going to lift a finger to help you because you're not a member of their foundation. Okay, I will tell you that right now. Okay, and yes, I've already reached out to them on a couple of different things. Your agenda and ours do not align. That's the message you receive from the TST. So you know what I have to say to the TST? Plain and simple. You claim to be doing this and for all Satanists. Really, when a Satanist comes to you for legal help or guide and you do nothing, you just violated your own rights. You're in, that becomes hypocritical. That becomes duality. What you're fighting for is more about your own order, your own temple, no one else. And that's the issue with people because they're too busy covering their own asses. They're too busy hiding behind the legal system and they're too busy hiding behind computer screens. Nobody gets off their ass and goes out and actually learns for themselves. Nobody gets off their asses and picks up a book and goes, wow, I didn't know this. No, it's all given to them verbally. Face value, plain and simple. That's all right, men like gods. So, my point is this: no one's going to come to your defense. You want to stick up for your religion, your practices. I want you to look at your penal codes. I want you to look at your constitutional rights. It doesn't matter if you're in England. It doesn't matter if you're here in the US. It doesn't matter if you're in Canada, Mexico, South America, Russia, or even in China. The laws are there to help you utilize them, master them, just like you would any other tradition. Because I want you to think about this. In the past, it was religious rights, it was religious freedoms. Everybody had commonalities and similarities within their practices, from prayers to rituals, ceremonies, you name it. The tools were the same. It was the methodology that separated those people. Okay. And it's interesting to see how it changed over time from open religion to what it is today, which is considered to be a art, a science, and a religion. So I mean, you really have to look at things from a wide range, not just myth and science, but also of an art and religious perspective. And that is what the United States Constitution represents. So you really have to look at this. Okay. I would recommend going underneath Google and typing in the Witchcraft Acts of England. Okay. The Parliament Acts. And really delve into them and look at what they represent. Okay. And I guarantee it, you'll find it interesting and fascinating. But then go into the United States Constitution, like I said, the First Amendment. Look at freedom of speech. Look at the religious land use and personalized religious acts. Okay, First Amendment of freedom of religion. Look at the 1964 to 1967 variations of the Civil Rights Act. Okay, and there's so much more that goes along with this. You see, I thought that I knew everything about this until I got my hands on a specific title, a specific PDF that really blew my mind wide open. Okay. And it was interesting because of the fact that a friend of mine posted a thing on witchcraft, and they are right about that. Wicca is not a protected religion. It was not even recognized by the United States government. Witchcraft, on the other hand, was. So keep that in mind as well. And I literally have posted this in the past. A lot of this stuff, even my own findings, to sharing this entire witchcraft statutes and everything and where they can be found. And I may do that again soon. So I may just go in and remind everybody on my Facebook page. So, I mean, you may see that. But I want you to remember everything that I stated today. The religion, the practices, the rites, the ceremonies, the rituals, the freedoms, the Ramsey Law, all of this stuff comes into play. No one's going to stick up for you. You have to step up to the plate, be a man, and do the work yourself. All right? I want to thank Stuck in the Deep, Men Like Gods, and Lord Zolok666 for jumping on here with me. And I did see your comment and question, Zolok, and this is not the video for that. I will do a video on that down the road, but it won't be right now. Okay? Have a good day, and until next time.